I meet you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. Meet you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. And I'm gonna miss everybody. And I'm gonna miss everybody. And I'm gonna miss everybody. Oh, no. Meet you at the crossroads, crossroads, crossroads. Meet you at the cross so you won't be lonely. While we're here on earth, we have an amazing opportunity. I was just reading a dua, and I was praying for my son. And what we can ask for mostly as parents, and this is a really great thing. Growing up, I had two very intelligent parents, but one was extraordinarily spiritual and was really put on this earth by Allah to do Allah's work. And that was my father. And he took the deen so seriously. And I think one of the beautiful things about not being born into the faith and selecting the faith is the process of selection. You know, when you are able to select, that means that you are able to compare and contrast, and you are able to decide what is best for you. And when we are comparing and contrasting, we're able to compare our lives, our former lives, to the life that we have on a spiritual path. So we think about our former lives, and of course there was fun involved, and when we were knuckleheads and doing the things that we did. Of course, it was fun from a worldly perspective, but there's nothing that compares to the peace and the joy that you feel when you are on a righteously spiritual path. There's just nothing that compares to that. And I stumbled upon this dua. I was praying for my son, and he is somebody that I really want to take on this faith deeply, because there's nothing in this world that can propel you and catapult you to what it is that you're here to do, in my opinion, more than this faith. And I was listening to Nazir Ra, and he's, I subscribe to him on YouTube. I don't know him personally, but he made a point that he said something to the effect of, we did the Christianity thing, we did the religious thing. He mentioned a word that I had never heard before in my life, religiocentric, something like that. It was like religiocentric. I said, that's interesting. And he said, we did the nation, and we ate the bean pies, and we still ended up in the same circumstance. So he was more so comparing, because you hear a lot of people say, I'm more spiritual than I am religious. He was kind of comparing, I guess, the path of spirituality to the path of religion. And, I have great respect for people, because at the same time, my faith says one thing, but there's a lot of it. My faith may not work for everybody. That might not be what propels them to their greatness. And I've come across, people who would be labeled or categorized, and I'm not big on labels, but the 5%ers, who basically believe that, and this from religiocentric, I think that's the name of the word, perspective, it could be considered as maybe potentially flirting with blasphemy, or could be potentially flirting with idolatry. But I have met some very powerful people who believe that man is God. And I don't believe that. I believe that we are manifestations of God, that we have just like a lesser degree of a God-like capacity, but I don't believe that man is God. Because the sun that we see and all of the elements that we see, we don't have the ability to create a sun. We don't have that ability. But I say this to say that I have still respect for the way that people see things, as long as they are adhering to righteousness, a sense of righteousness. And I was listening to the minister also, and he was talking about Abraham, who the Muslims call Prophet Ibrahim. And Abraham is known to be the I guess, the governor or the guardian of the three Ibrahimic faiths, the faith of Islam, the faith of Christianity, and the faith of Judaism. The Ibrahimic faiths, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. These are the three Ibrahimic faiths of Abraham. And Abraham shows up in a different capacity as far as the understanding of his role and who he was in the different monotheistic faiths of Abraham, of Ibrahim. And he said something to the effect of he was not Muslim, or no, he said he was not Jewish and he was not Christian. And so that kind of left me with a question, and my interpretation of it was, well, you can still be a prophet. This was my interpretation. And again, I stand corrected because I'm not, I don't have, accelerated degree in divinity. And I have not as well studied and learned it as some of the people who do, who really thoroughly studied all different types of spirituality. And it's something that I am looking forward to doing because it's something that has not, various interests can kind of wean away. But my interest in spirituality is so profound, it's not going anywhere. I want to study all spiritual practices. So my question became, well, if Prophet Ibrahim was not a Christian, was not a Jew, and he did not specifically say he was not a Muslim, but the implication, as far as my interpretation, and I stand corrected if I'm wrong about this, was that he did not have a religion. So how could a being who did not have a religion be elevated to the point where in the deen he's recognized as a prophet, meaning he went to the 7th level of heaven, but he didn't have a religion? So I started to question, can you be seen in Allah's eyes as extraordinarily valuable, like a Prophet Ibrahim, and not follow religion? Can you have a close, and not following a specific religion is not saying that you don't have a direct relationship with God. And I think that is maybe, and again, I stand corrected because I'm still a baby in this knowledge. There's so many things that I don't know. But I think that may be a fallacy that very religious people want us to believe, that you can only have a direct relationship and have a close bond with your creator if you go through one of these religions. And when the minister was talking, I started to ask, I don't know if that's the case. I'm not sure if that's true. So going back to what Nazir Abbas said, he said that, we did this religious thing and we ended up in the same spot. We don't see progress. And I would ask him, if it was face to face, I would ask him, when you talk about we not seeing progress, specifically, who are you talking about? Are you talking about mankind? Are you talking about humanity? Are you talking about people in America? Are you talking about Black people? Specifically, who are you talking about when you see that we don't see progress? But what I would also challenge him in saying is, I get where you're coming from. And there's an argument on that end, but I also will say, can we say that we've been living the word? Because again, like Tahuti Ma'atara said, it's not a matter of wisdom, it's wisdom applied. So it's not a matter of knowing the faith, it's the faith applied to your life. You have people that show up to Sunday service every single Sunday, but they go out and they do the same things that are not what their faith has prescribed. There are people that show up at Juma on Fridays, but their actions are contradictory to what the faith has prescribed. So I would have to ask you, because coming from a household where my father was a testament to the transformative powers of the deen. The transformative powers are so magnificent that sometimes people prior to the deen, they're barely recognizable after only a year or two following that straight and narrow path. People don't even recognize them so much anymore. That's how powerful the transformative powers are. But in order for you to be able to be transformed, you actually have to apply the wisdom to your life. You can't just be showing up just to show up and then be doing the same exact things. For example, I'm not here to trash anybody's specific faith, not the Jews, not the Christians, not the Muslims. But what I will say is, out of the three Abrahamic faiths, it seems to me that the Muslims have more of an adherence to the word than other faiths. Other faiths kind of do what's convenient for them. And specifically with the Jews, Muslims and Jews are supposed to be best friends. We're supposed to have a very tight, close connection as brothers of the Abrahamic faith. But unfortunately, and I'm making a generalization, our Jewish brothers have become more worldly than spiritual and have become more committed to monetary success than spiritual success, because there's no way that you can be following the Torah, and there's no reason that you could really be following the word of Judaism and be treating your brothers and your sisters that way. Right now, what you guys are doing is you're passing down a tradition that's very oppressive. And the Jews and the Muslims are supposed to be very, very tight, very, very close as spiritual brothers and sisters. The Christians, in the book, is saying that you're really not supposed, even though you guys do communion and you have the wine and all that stuff, you're really not supposed to be getting drunk as a Christian. You're not supposed to be eating pork as a Christian. You're not supposed to be going to church on Sunday and getting drunk on Saturday. You're not supposed to be doing those things. You're not supposed to be smoking weed as a Christian. These are things that are against your faith, truthfully. Smoking weed as a Christian, you're not really supposed to be doing that. Because it's an intoxicant. It's something that takes you out of your mind. But a spiritual person may say that's not the case. They may say that the plant is is an herb from God, and it's a tool to make you more spiritual. And there's an argument for that also. I'm not going to say that I'm totally against that train of thought, because organic marijuana can be very much a tool to make you tap into your spirituality, similar to rituals that some of the Native Americans have with the ayahuasca. These are herbs that are used for ritualistic purposes to make you more tapped into your God consciousness. And guess what? Even though most religious people would make the argument that that's not how it's supposed to be, I can actually see that I can see that. I'm not gonna, but you're not really supposed to be abusing any substance, and you're not supposed to be putting anything really toxic inside of your body, and you're really not supposed to be eating pork like that. So the Muslims more adhere to what the word is as far as actions, from what I've seen in practice, than other religions. And so I would say to Nazir Ra in response to that I hear where he's coming from, but can we say that we have observed, even though humanity has had the introduction of the word, has had the introduction of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, can we say that they've taken that word and applied it? Because I don't think so. Well, he says, okay, well, we have these things and it didn't work. We're no better off than we were, right? But we have these things, but we didn't use it to work. Because if we are oppressed, let's say the community, we're talking specifically about the community who is oppressed, but we are also largely a part of our own oppression. And I don't think that he would argue with me on that, because he's really big on taking accountability and personal responsibility. So if you take on a religion and the religion says, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do these things, Not to take away from your fun, but because of your own longevity. Drinking, smoking, all these things, they age you. They're bad for your internal organs. God gave you a body. Your body is a temple. He's not giving you these instructions to like hate or hate on your fun or anything like that. He's like, I gave you this one body. Your one body. I gave you this one life, this one mind. And I'm giving you instructions on how to best preserve yourself. Stop putting that crap inside of your body because you will preserve yourself. You will take care of your mind. You will take care of your body. You will take care of the internal organs that I gave you. You see all this crap, all this, black market crap, people doing all types of crazy things, kidnapping people and killing people for their organs. Why do you have a bad heart? Why is your spleen bad? Why is your, why are your vital organs malfunctioning? All these health problems, all these pills and things that people got to take, they're sick. Why is that? Why is your body malfunctioning? If you have followed the word and the word in its entirety, you will be on a body as a temple self-preservation path. When things that are harmful to you are outlawed, it's for the purpose of your own well-being. So I would have to challenge, with all due respect and all, absolute love, because I really do have a lot. I've never met him, but I have a lot of love in my heart for Nazir. A lot of love in my heart. I pray for him all the time because I love his power and I love his message and his heart. I believe it's truly in the right place, and his intellectualism is admirable. But I would have to challenge him on that one point that he made when he talked about religiocentricity, being religiocentric, rather than, I guess, maybe as opposition to being God-centric, or just faith-centric, religiocentric. I thought it was a really interesting term. So I don't think that religion, because a lot of times people have a large problem. Oh, this person's so religious. I don't think it's the religion that's the issue. I believe that it's a lack of the religious principles that have been applied. But while we're here on earth, we have the opportunity to pray for those who have come before us. And it is my recommendation that on a day-to-day basis, you don't just thank your ancestors. Ancestors, I thank you. Thank you. A lot of times we thank our ancestors. That's wonderful. We thank our ancestors. It's appreciation. We understand that they carved a path for us and they did a lot of things. But thanking them, I believe, is only one extent. Praying on their behalf is some next level. They have gone to the spirit realm at this point. They are no longer with us on this earthly realm. And I was also told when my father passed away, please don't stop crying, because I couldn't stop crying. Please stop crying. If you knew how happy he was, you would not be crying for him. You'd be crying for yourself. If you knew how happy your father was, if you knew how much joy your father is having on the spiritual realm, your father has never, and my dad was a very happy man, but he is ecstatic right now. I mean, euphoria and bliss. And that is the reward of being righteous on this earth. I mean, a lot of times during death, people are crying. They're crying for themselves. Really, that's what we're doing. And it's kind of selfish. It's borderline selfish. Oh, I miss them so much. I want to talk to them. They were so good to me while they were here. They prayed for me. I know every single time like I had a conflict, I called my father instantly. It was like, that's how powerful he was on a spiritual level. Instantly, I felt relief. Oh, I would call my dad about arguments with my mom, and, stressed out and down about this. A relationship didn't work. And instantly, as soon as I got off the phone, I was good. That's the power that he had in his prayer and in the close relationship he had with Allah. Just mention to Allah, my daughter's not feeling well. Instantly, I felt well. So I'm like, oh my gosh, dad is gone. Oh, I'm so, he used to pray for me and instantly I felt good. What am I going to do without him? He was my confidant. I can talk to him about anything. That's all self-centered. You're not thinking about him. You're thinking about you. You're not thinking about the fact that your parent, if they had a terminal illness, they were suffering, they were in the hospital, death is a relief for the believer, releasing you of the burdens of this world. You're sad for your own doggone self. You're not sad for them because they're happy. They're extraordinarily euphoric for where they're at. They did the good work while they were here on earth, and they're blessed generously. My dad has never been happier in his life than what he is right now. He's never had more peace peace and joy and rewards and endless blessings and endless miracles for the good work that he did on this earth. But your selfish behind wants them back here. You want them back here to experience bills and debt and all the crap that comes on this earth just so they can pray for you and you can converse with them? Stop it. Knock it off. That's very selfish. But what you can do for all of the things that they did for you is you can ask Allah, well, since I'm still here on this earth, I would like to personally intervene for my ancestors because none of us are perfect people. Can you please wipe away their transgressions, wipe away their sins, wipe away the bad deeds, the wrongs that they did on this earth, and magnify their blessings tenfold, that every single good deed, every single ounce of goodness, may it be magnified tenfold. Not even 10, as many fold as you can have. May you just bless them, reward them, count every good thing that they did as many times as possible. And may you also bestow upon me peace and joy and love and adherence to your word, that they have no worries in the spiritual realm. Do you realize that your actions, you're over here thanking your ancestors, that's great, but do you realize that your actions is what could bring them their woes? You're over here being a knucklehead. They're like, in the spiritual realm, like, I know I didn't die for this crap. For this knucklehead to be messing up our legacy. I know I didn't sacrifice years and years of my life for this knucklehead that happens to carry my last name and my DNA to be over here messing up my legacy. Don't be ashamed to your ancestors, please. Don't shame them by your behavior, please. Besides your prayer and your intervention, really your actions and your behavior and the way that you move in this life is really the biggest honor that you can give them. To heck with a prayer if you're over here being a straight knucklehead, shaming them and embarrassing them and basically turning your nose up at their legacy. Over here, I pray for my ancestors, I pray for my ancestors. But you're over here being a knucklehead, a straight knucklehead. Do right. That's the biggest way that you can honor your ancestors. Unless your ancestors were also knuckleheads. Because, some of you do have ancestors who, were the type to snitch on Harriet Tubman and, the type of... Basically, some of your ancestors were prostitutes and whores. Some of your ancestors were sellouts. It's true. Some of your ancestors did work with the feds. Some of your ancestors were agents. That's true, too. So that could be, your bloodline. Maybe that's the reason why you are that way. But mine was not. And on a day-to-day, while you're thanking your ancestors, make sure that you are praying for their mercy, praying that Allah extends His compassion to them, and praying to guide you in a way that they will be proud of you, that your actions will be in alignment with their legacy. Peace.